Flashpoint Superman, or Subject 1, facing off against Thomas Wayne Batman, saying, everything matters. My son, Krypton is dying. Even with our advanced science, we cannot stop its inevitable destruction. So we have sent you out into the void to save us all. You are our last Flashpoint universe 30 years beforehand. Jor-El is talking to Kal-El, who he sent away from the dying planet universe. There are several other Kryptonian kids who were sent in rockets as well. We're then taken to Metropolis, as it was 30 years ago that more than 35,000 civilians were killed when the city of Metropolis was decimated. Who could have foreseen the truth behind these grisly events that took place that day? The unredacted government documents that were recently released by Sarge Steele reveal what caused the meteor shower that leveled Metropolis. It was a rocket ship from another world. A ship carrying a dangerous alien humanoid that up until several months ago was secured until it was freed by the Bat. As Kal-El's rocket flies through the Daily Planet and into the city, causing a massive explosion. The news segment is playing on a TV in Wayne Manor as Oswald is showing Dexter, the son of Harvey Dent, how to pick the lock. After image of Reverse Flash appearing behind Oswald saying, I need Thomas Wayne. He's coming for me again. Hyper time. Then disappearing. What was that? And Oswald answers, I got no idea, kid, but I need a drink. You want one? Everything matters. Batman tells him to stay back, at which point Captain Boomerang, who is about to be killed by Batman, picks up the gun on the floor and shoots Superman. And Superman just turns around saying, leave or burn, looking freaking menacing. And Batman asks, why are you here? Superman answers, need help. Batman just walks away. Find someone else. I have things to do. Superman says, wait, I said no. Superman just stands there. Although as Superman says, come with me, we see him wipe some blood off his chin, while Batman gets a fractured hand. In any case, Batman tells him, there's nothing you could do or say to make me go with you, Space Boy. Understand? The Batman did this. As we're taken back to Gilda Dent being brought back to her cell after she injured herself, cutting up the left side of her face. Now back in her cell and restrained so she doesn't hurt herself any further, she starts talking to herself, saying, I want to see Dexter. And a voice in her head answers, you will, my dear. She then says, the doctor said the voice, you aren't real. You're in my head. But the voice responds, how would he know what's real? Is he a god? Does he know what you did? Gilda tells the voice, I only wanted to be the best mother I could be. I want Dexter back. And the voice tells her, he'll come to us. A boy needs his mother. And then we can finish. That's right, they just officially made Gilda Dent the Two-Face of the Flashpoint universe. Is scratched and burned on the back, similar to Harvey Dent's coin in the main continuity. Plus the way she tore up specifically half of her face kind of gave it away. We see Thomas wake up with his shirt off and his chest covered in bandages on a bed of flowers where he's greeted by Poison Ivy. He gets up, taking the bandages off and putting his shirt back on, and asks where he is. Ivy answers, the only place on Earth that's safe, the Oasis, which is basically the forest version of the Fortress of Solitude, and I love it. She starts giving him a tour explaining, the Superman reached out to us to help create this, a place for the displaced like him, a home for those who have none, a sanctuary, protection for the people of Mother Earth that have been forgotten and abused, much like he was. Batman asks, the Superman made this place? She answers, oh no, it was his idea, but it was Jason Woodrue who built it, the Swamp Thing. Again, having Swamp Thing build the forest version of this Fortress of Solitude is a damn cool idea. They finally make their way to Superman, and Superman's like, Batman, you gotta see this. He's saying, if you are receiving this, my son, it means you have survived. And it means that we could too. Krypton is dying, but there is hope. Hope that we might find a new home before ours self-destructs. You have been sent to your assigned world as the other children have. Your world is called Earth. Save for its yellow sun, it's not dissimilar to Krypton. It will be our new home. Your mission upon adulthood is to use your powers to disarm the humans in advance of our arrival. And then we'll conquer them as father and son, together. Do not worry, my son. We are coming soon, and you will no longer be a stranger in a strange land, but be lauded by the hero of Krypton you now are. And as Batman, you understand an invasion. How long? Swamp Thing answers, the green is weak in the darkness, but it still speaks. 5 days. Superman asks if he'll help, but Batman asks, help you do what? What do you mean what? We need to gather an army, warn the world, protect our planet from enslavement and destruction. My father doesn't understand the people here can be good. Batman replies, good? They imprisoned you, tortured you, and now your father wants to destroy them so he can give you the future you deserve? Why stop him from doing that? Superman answers, because they matter. Their lives matter. Even this version of Superman in the dark and messed up Flashpoint universe has a good heart and will always do what's right no matter what, which is just great to see. Long story short, Batman refuses to gather more heroes or help at all, simply saying, I'll find my own way home. Elsewhere, the GCPD find a dead body cut open and filled with clock parts in Iris West's apartment. The commissioner asks if they had ID, but the detective says, nothing. No name, no fingerprints in our system, or any other things I could find. This guy, Sophia, just doesn't exist. She responds, for someone who doesn't exist, he sure wears some flashy threads. As we see, the dead person is the Reverse Flash, along with the word tick written in blood on the sheets, where we see Bonnie and Jeff traveling in a blue sphere. Bonnie says a paradox was just reset. Dawn, I think. And Jeff tells her, the time sphere isn't going to last much longer, Bonnie. We need to get back to the other side of the continuum. It's stable. But Bonnie explains, the omniverse may be relatively more stable than hypertime, but its multiverses are being besieged by the great darkness, which will no doubt alter them again. We need to steer clear of the omniverse until the League returns and the darkness passes, Jeff. Unless we want to risk our own histories being rewritten again. Confirming that all this hypertime and time travel that's been happening in this title is related to the Dark Crisis event where Pariah is creating a crisis with his Dark Army and the Great Darkness. Jeff says, but maybe that's why Rip is missing. He could have been corrupted and taken control by Pariah. But Bonnie replies, please, no one can control Dr. Rip Hunter. That's why we're in this mess in the first place. Jeff finally says, let's just hope Corky doesn't make things worse. Hypertime has enough problems with Thomas Wayne still around. As we see, Hypertime is in chaos with timeline pieces of Superman, the JSA, Superboy, The Flash, and pretty much every character in the DC universe really getting on my nerves, Mr. Wayne. I mean, didn't you have enough problems with the Great Darkness making all your bad guys even, I don't know, badder? You just got over trouble in the Omniverse, so why make more by messing with Hypertime? Why try and save your father when the fact that he was even alive again was because of a living paradox? This is your last warning, Mr. Wayne. I'm serious. This is it. After a pause, he continues, well, okay then, you're ignoring me. But let me tell you something, you flipped your lid trying to trap that timeline, Mr. Wayne, and our universe is going to suffer the consequences. Then we're taken back to Arkham Asylum in the Flashpoint universe, where we see the janitors hear Gilda Dent talking to herself in her cell, and at the morgue, Thomas Wayne examining Reverse Flash's dead body. We get captions of Thomas thinking, I don't have much time before this world plunges into total chaos, and I lose my chance to save my son to save Bruce forever, as he then takes a scalpel and removes the clock pieces from Dawn's body. Now back at Wayne Manor, Dexter is watching the news talking about Arkham Asylum and how it's said to make its patients worse, while Oswald is looking for food in the fridge. But when he turns around, Dexter has made his way down into the Batcave, grabbing a utility belt and some other gear, dressing up as a makeshift Robin and saying, don't get scared now, giving us a nice little Home Alone homage. Seems like he's getting ready to save his mom in Arkham after he heard on the news that Arkham makes his patients worse. After Thomas Wayne gets the clock pieces out of Dawn's body, he heads back to Wayne Manor where he's greeted by Oswald, and immediately Thomas knows that Dexter is gone, asking Oswald, where is he? We then see that Dexter hid on top of a pest control van to get past the Arkham gates, and Thomas in his Batcave taking the clock pieces he just got and putting them together, saying, Dexter Dent. He went to Arkham to see his mother. Oswald responds, you have to stop him, but Thomas says, I can't. I have to put this clock together. Oswald gets mad, slamming his fist on the desk, saying, are you kidding me? I'm talking about helping a kid who lost his sister to suicide and lost his father to murder. He doesn't need to know he lost his mother to madness too. I'd go myself, but you know I'm not what they call the physical type. But again, Thomas refuses, saying, I thought Dexter might be able to help me as a witness to his father's death. But he was one step removed from the real killer, and I'm one step closer. The clock gears that were inside Reverse Flash hold the answer. Meanwhile, Dexter breaks into Arkham, knocks out a janitor taking his ID, then two guards taking the clips out of their guns and throwing them in the trash. And the next page gives us side-by-side parallels between Thomas fixing the clock and Dexter picking his cell lock. And when it's open, Gilda embraces him, saying, Dexter, our little boy. But Dexter looks at her concerned, saying, Mom, this place isn't good for you. It changes people. I'm going to get you out of here. She replies, oh baby, this place hasn't hurt me. It's helped me. And it's going to help you too. And a voice off panel says, it's going to help all of us. Horrified, Dexter asks, Mom, who was that? But she continues saying, they wanted to keep us apart, just like your father threatened to do. But everything's going to be okay now. The voice off panel says, well, maybe not everything. And Dexter continues looking at it in horror. At the same time, Thomas finishes putting the clock together, and Oswald says, a clock, big deal, and you missed a piece. Thomas responds, Oswald, that's it. It's not from this clock. He runs upstairs thinking, how could I have missed it before? And if I'm right, if this means what I think it does, it's impossible. The next page gives us a two-page spread going back and forth between Dexter and Thomas, as Thomas then rips the face off his grandfather clock that leads to the Batcave and puts the remaining gear in place. As he thinks, the grandfather clock has been broken for too many years to count. It was a wedding gift. Then he tells Oswald, I know who the killer is. Meanwhile, back in Arkham Asylum, that voice talking to Dexter, and Gilda continues, I miss home, a real home, with love and warmth and family. And it's revealed on the next page that it's Martha Wayne, this world's Joker, somehow still alive and well. We're finally taken back to the main DC Earth and see a burst of energy in the Batcave that came from the snow globe Batman took back in issue 1. Bruce says temporal energy, and Corky responds, are you kidding? It's much more than that. That's Blue Shift's power, Mr. Wayne. It's created when the Omniverse comes into direct contact with hypertime, when space meets time. It's the most dangerous energy on either side of the divine continuum. Surprised you didn't know that. Bruce asks, why is it doing this? And Corky replies, so now you're asking for help. Ha! Corky then goes off on a long rant about literature, specifically Shakespeare's The Tempest, saying there are some neat quotes, like good wounds have borne bad sons. Of course, the other way around is true too. I mean, your mom, she had a lot of secrets, had a lot of problems. things you don't know about, things from her past, things you didn't realize your dad was going to have to face in there. You see, I warned you, Batman. I really did. You don't know everything about everything this time. You don't know the truth about your mom. Ending the issue with a close-up on the glowing snowmen in the snow globe. I can't believe Martha Wayne Joker is still alive somehow. This story and The Dark Crisis, similar to many of Taylor's other titles like Marvel Dark Ages, Deceased, and Injustice, Dark Knights of Steel is also an Elseworlds or alternate reality take of DC characters. Which Knights of Steel, he's gone full Game of Thrones and medieval with the DC universe. They will come from the stars. They all look like us. Images of a dying Krypton. They are not like us. Laura, they are demons. Happening. It can't be. He tells her, it is. I'm so sorry. This is our son's only chance now. As we see the rocket take off, fleeing the dying planet, prophecies can be blissfully ignored. But sometimes events are foretold which hold too much truth. And ignoring these deviations would not just be foolhardy, they could spell disaster. They could mean the end of the world. The prophecy began. Crash landed on Earth. We see it's not just Kal-El inside the ship, it's also his two parents with his mother currently in labor, yelling, he's coming. At this moment, a bunch of knights on horses come charging towards them with arrows drawn back, ready to fall. We're not a threat. Do not do this. Please, please, she's in labor. But the knights do not care. They just know these two people are not from this world, as they just saw them crash land from space and release their arrows. As the arrows soar through the air, Laura yells, he's coming, while Jor-El screams, no. He activated one of his newfound powers, his heat vision, due to his extreme stress and fear, unintentionally incinerating all the arrows as well as the knights and horses. But in doing so, he saved himself and his family's life as he looks down at his wife saying, my boy, who she just gave birth to, as she holds their new son saying, Kal-El. Jor, what happened? He grabs her by the back of the head saying, it's all right. Everything's gonna be all right, as we see them stand in front of the kingdom. We're taken into the kingdom of storms. The young man on the ground in a trance-like state keeps speaking saying, castles crumble. People tear as easy as parchment, swifter than a crossbow bolt. As the Constantine boy is talking in tongues, Jefferson just looks at him saying, keep writing, Eddings, every word, as lightning flickers out of Jefferson's eye, confirming this king is Jefferson Pierce, aka Black Lightning. A prophecy saying, more powerful than castle walls, soaring over moats and fortifications. Look up in the sky. Jefferson asks, what is it, Constantine? What do you see? He then sits up saying, 19 years later at the castle of El, telling us that after Jor-El and Laura landed those 19 years ago, they took over the kingdom they landed next to. We see a 19-year-old Kal-El. Bruce, I'd like to come with, says, no. But as Bruce is putting on his kick, you rely on children, but you won't have me by your side? You think me to be incapable? You're practically a god, Kal-El. Responds, I'm not a god. But Alfred speaks up saying, you could shoot fire from your face, my lord. Yes, thank you, Alfred. He says, I know you're capable. I've sworn to protect your family from the one thing that can harm you. I go to confront a banshee's magic. I will not lead you into danger. Kal-El responds, are you immune to magic? Are you not in danger? Saying, stay here, please, my lord. Alfred then tells Cal, that silent glare he just gave you, that's the look he resorts to when he's lost in argument. We see Bruce and Alfred riding to Feist's village. Richard, Duke, report. They show up saying, we tracked the Banshee to the Pullman. The other Robins are evacuating the inn now, saying, I'll guard the gate in case she gets away. Bruce then walks in with his Bat Knight armor and says she won't. As Bruce arrives outside the Pullman, he sees Jason pulling out an unconscious man, saying, he's the innkeeper. He wouldn't leave. I did try reasoning with him. Bruce then tells him, from now on, Stephanie does all the reasoning. An alarming amount of your attempts at diplomacy end with someone comatose. At this point, Bruce walks inside saying to the four of them, you've done well, Robins. I'm going in. As he walks in pulling out his sword, he puts it directly next to the blonde woman's face, saying, get up, Banshee, slowly. The door was bolted. How did you get in? You know who I am? She says, yes. You're the bastard Bat Prince. Are you an assassin sent by King Jefferson? No wish to harm the elves, no matter how much harm they wish upon me. Bruce tells her magic and your kind are outlawed in this kingdom. You have violated the law by being here. You will be imprisoned, Banshee. You will not be mistreated if you come peacefully and quietly. My name is Dinah, telling us this is Black Canary. Okay? And as for quietly, as she uses her sonic scream to borderline bring the whole place down. But Bruce is somehow unscathed. She asks, how are you still alive? Why are you not torn to pieces? Because everything around them is. He says, I don't know, as we see blood drip from his ear. At which point she screams in his face again as a hand at super speed covers her mouth. We see it's Kal-El. You don't look like a monster, you just look scared. At this point, Bruce gets back up and knocks her out with the hilt of his sword. Was that really necessary, Bruce? You're not supposed to be here. Kal-El then tells him we should probably find a way to gag this Banshee. While wiping away blood, Bruce says yes. Are you alright? You're bleeding from the ears a fair amount. I'm fine. Bring her. She belongs in the Yell Dungeons with the others. As they arrive back at the castle, Bruce is greeted by their court jester, who just so happens to be Harley Quinn. She asks Bruce, do you know you have an unconscious woman on the back of your horse? If you're trying to make a centaur, that's really not how it works. Do not torment me today, Quinn, but you're so much fun to torment, and it's so easy. You're so dark and brooding, but with those little ears. As she flicks the ears on his helmet, leave him alone. She says, okay, but only because you're both in enough trouble, and your parents would like to see you, Kal-El. Jor-El asks Bruce, why did you take Kal-El with you? He responds, I'm sorry, it was an error in judgment. Kal-El says, don't lie for me. He didn't take me, I went on my own accord. I will not stand by while Bruce and his Robins risk their lives to protect us. Not when axes break on my skin. Banshee was not coming for us, we came for her. Bruce then speaks up saying, my Robin in Jefferson's court learned a magical assassin had been set. That doesn't make it her. Father, you talk about everything good we brought to this world, yet you're locking away innocence. Bruce then says, they are not innocent. They are magic. We are the last of our race, Kal-El. I will do whatever I deem necessary to preserve and protect us. While Bruce kneels saying, and I will continue to do all I can to protect you, my king and queen. To stand up saying, this is as much your home as ours. Jor-El says, if I had it my way, you'd be sitting here instead of us. Bruce is shocked and says, they see you as a god. I am a bastard. Who cares? Bruce looks at him saying, the entire kingdom, the kingdom I serve. Our traditions do not stop at the whim of a smiling spaceman. Kal-El tells him, your traditions are backwards and idiotic. All right, that's enough. Bruce, take a walk with me. While they talk, Jor-El asks, what's wrong? You seem more agitated than usual. Today I stood in the path of destruction. Wood turned into splinters and stone cracked around me. I should have been killed, torn apart, yet I lived. It is not the first time I have survived an encounter like this. I have sworn to protect you from magic, but the Green Man, when he attacked me, I can do things. I have come to suspect there is dark magic within me. I should be banished to protect you or locked away. I believe I am cursed. Elsewhere in Hub Forest, we see Oliver Queen, aka Green Arrow, have one of his arrowheads charged by an unknown Green Lantern. Oliver asks, you sure this will work? The Green Lantern responds, it will make the distance. The magic will do the rest. Only your aim is in question. Oliver says, my aim isn't a concern, Green Man, as he fires the arrow. We knew you were a bastard. That was never hidden from you or the kingdom. Thomas and Martha had too much misplaced honor for that. Your mother and I, you were a mistake. You are not a mistake. But what Martha and I did was, you are my son. I strongly believe you should sit on the throne. Two kings have loved you. Arrow go right through Jor-El's right eye, killing him. Or so it seems. See Bruce holding his dead father as his eyes light up with heat vision. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. See you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.